Good morning, grade 10s. Can you guys all give me that green check mark so that I know we are good to go in both Blackboard and live classroom and that I know everybody's here? Good morning. Hopefully you guys all had a great Thanksgiving weekend. I know I did. It was very, very restful, very, very thankful. Awesome. Good. So it looks like you guys are all here and ready to go. You're probably all brain dead now after math class. So we'll try to keep it a bit short today. I've got a lesson based around point of view because what we're going to do now is kind of shift focus a little bit from our descriptive paragraphs, but we're still going to use our descriptive paragraphs. So this lesson that we're going to do, you guys, is the intro to really the next aspect of our next writing assignment. So whether or not we get it finished today remains unseen. We might have to spread it out over 2 classes or whether or not I just shorten it up. We'll see how today goes. That's really, we're going to play it by ear today. All right. So like I said, we're going to talk about point of view and how do we evaluate the things that we see, the things that we observe in life. So to begin, if you open up in Moodle in the English course, you should see the point of view assignment. If everyone can scroll down to that and open it up, you will find a story, a very, very short story called Elephant and the Blind Men. So if you guys are in that assignment, so here's the course. And if we just scroll down, you will see Introduction to Point of View. If you just click in there, underneath the introduction, you will see the text. And you'll see it's a nice short story. All right. I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to read that. And I'm just going to head back to my PowerPoint here. And then we're going to go over what I'd like you to do, and this is just an introduction basically to point of view. So once you've read the story, the question that I want you guys to think about and what we're going to share as a group is, how does point of view influence individuals' observations, conclusions, and opinions? So take 2 minutes, read the story, go back into Blackboard, and then in your own opinion, answer that question in the room chat, please. Perfect. I'm going to give you a few more seconds just to finish up your thoughts because I see some people are still writing into the chat there. But some of the points that have already been made, Devin, people use their point of view to use reason, right? And Avery, I think you add on to that very well, right? Exactly. So Devin, I would say absolutely. I think everyone does use point of view to make reasonable decisions, right? To use reason in their observations that they are making in a certain scenario. But exactly what Avery, Taylor, what you guys are saying, everybody's different. How you've grown up, your age, your background, your gender, what you have happened in your own lives shapes your point of view and your opinion, right? Exactly. So everybody's point of view, even on similar situations, might be drastically different, as you could tell in the story that you quickly read, right? Absolutely. So excellent. You guys are getting to the point of where I am heading with today's lesson. All right. Absolutely, Ava. Great. So this is what I'd like you to do. You need to go back into the English Moodle course and keep in mind the questions that we form around, or even the connections that we make around opinion, point of view, right? Our influences, those sort of things, our conclusions. So what is the connection between point of view and opinion? That's really the big theme around what I want to get through to you guys today. In the assignment, the very first thing that you guys need to do underneath the blind man story, there is the first download, okay? And this is going to help you guys create a framework around point of view. So I just want to make sure that you guys are downloading the correct one. So when underneath the story, under acquiring the knowledge, this is the download that I would like you guys to, again, depending on your situation, whether or not you can print it, whether or not you guys just want to, take notes on it, whatever it is. This is just a framework for you guys to showcase your thinking around point of view. All right. Point of view essentially has 6 aspects, and we're going to break down, or what we like to call attributes. And we're going to break that down. All right. So I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint here. So basically I want to break that down, and I want to focus on attribute number 1 today. Whether we not, the first 3 attributes are the basic attributes of point of view, and we want to make sure we clearly understand those concepts. If we don't get to the more advanced attributes of point of view, that'll be fine. We can work around that. All right. But these are the attributes that we really want to understand around point of view. So in the assignment again, today we're going to focus on attribute 1. So if you go back to that main page that I just had you guys download, the attribute 1 is right there. Okay. So point of view is the way of looking at something that shapes our opinions and observations. And I believe actually that one of you, I think it might have been Chloe, right? Actually already mentioned this. So for sure, when we're looking at something and from our point of view, that is what is going to shape our opinions and conclusions around that scenario. Now, how do we showcase that? Well, if you go back to the assignment, here's our attribute 1. Now, what we're going to use is our last names. All right, not our first names, because everybody in A, we'd have half the class in A. So this is going to be your last name. So whatever the last name is, you guys, I've split it up into 5 separate groups, split up the alphabet here. You need to click on that Padlet. We are all very, very comfortable with Padlet now. So we should get some interesting correlation there. So I'm just going to click on the A to C one so that you guys can see what the Padlet actually looks like. You should see I've set up the walls for you guys. You should see 8 statements, okay, around a specific scenario. So the point of view, the scenario is, what I would like you guys to do is arrange the following statements, okay, those 8 statements into 2 columns. It's point of view is your first column, and your second column is opinion. Is the statement that we're looking at either a point of view or opinion? You guys need to come up and just move those statements into 2 columns as a group, okay? Now, the scenario is, just let me get out my trusty dusty little note here. The statements all relate, you guys, to a car accident, okay? So each of the statements relate to a car accident. Let's keep it nice and broad, okay? Okay, so thanks. Okay, so if they're not letting them move, let me see if I can move these ones. Oh, it's not working. Hold on a sec. Okay, so let's do this. If it's not easy to move, this is our flexibility occurring right here, you guys. All right. I'm pretty sure that I let you guys allowed them to edit them. So if you can't move them, let's just make a note beside them. And let's say, is it point of view or is it opinion? Okay, so I'm just going to delete that. So you guys can double click on the wall, and beside the note or beside the statement, is it point of view or opinion? If you can move them into the 2 columns. If not, just beside the statement, decide, is it point of view or opinion? I'll give you guys 5 minutes as a group to decide around that scenario. Okay, so go ahead and get started there. All right. So come on back into the live classroom, you guys, so that we can discuss that first attribute of point of view. When you organized, you'll see I've just added the actual answers to the two groups. So hopefully you've got your points of view, which was the A1, A3, A5, and A7. And the opinions were A2, A4, A6, and A8. Give me a green check mark if that's how you and your group organized your points of view. And if you didn't, give me a quick little note in the chat as to which one you flipped around. It is more difficult, Abby. I totally agree. When I was going through this, I was like, that's fine, Taylor. You might have been the only one with a B, right? That's totally fine. And Taylor, same thing. If you were all alone, that's fine. Is this how you organized it, though? Devin. Perfect. All right. Good. Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay if you were alone as well. That's all right. So lonely on a Tuesday morning. So what I'd like to do is really, again, remember what attribute 1 was, right? If we head back to my trusty dusty notes here, you guys. A point of view is a way of looking at something that shapes our opinions and observations, okay? In that main download that I got you guys to download, the first one, the point of view, the web looking one, can you think of your own example? This is something personal that you can maybe make a connection to in an event in your own life that shaped your point of view because of your opinions and your own thoughts and beliefs. If you can, jot that down into that web. That would be great. So that's a specific attribute. All right. The second attribute, what I want to focus on is that Devin. Good. Okay, so let's go back to A3. Devin just typed into Blackboard, you guys, that he thinks A3 should be an opinion. And I have to remind myself which one A3 is. Okay, so do you want to go into a little bit more? Yes, good, Devin, thank you. And you just answered my question. Some people may not think that, right? The cost of the accident can be seen in terms of financial costs and human suffering, okay? But if it's a car accident, this is what I would argue with you, Devin, okay? You may not think that, but in terms of because it does cover a broad range, right? Financial costs and human suffering, okay? So I think those two factors do institute it as a point of view. That's what I think as well. So that's what I would counter argue that, Devin. Now, going to attribute 2, okay, what you're going to do is now take those 4, only the 4 point of view statements, okay? Because this leads into your second attribute, which is attribute 2 is a point of view can be physical or mental, okay? And I know sometimes that's hard to think about when you're thinking of point of view, physical and mental, but let's not use maybe mental is the wrong word. What we're talking about is thinking, something that happens on the inside, whereas physical is happening on the outside, okay? So it's actually happening on the outside, whereas mental is happening up here. You're thinking about it. So you're going to take those 4 cards that were point of view cards, then rearrange those, or again, just underneath in the Padlet wall, put either mental or physical, type it in, and explain to me which of those, now, so you're only taking the 4, so let's go back. You're only doing A1, A3, A5, and A7, and decide whether it's mental or physical. Okay, so the same Padlet wall. So make sure you're going back to that same thing. Okay, so I'll give you guys 2 minutes to decide whether each of those cards are mental thinking or physical. Okay. We'll do 3 minutes, you guys.
Sorry, I got wrapped up in this.
All right. So again, you guys, I went in and redid the PowerPoint there. You can see that between those 4 point of view cards, they can be broken down between mental, thinking, and physical. So what is the difference is that A1 is the actual physical location, right? Whereas the other ones are the thinking, whether that's a group thinking mentality, whether it's an individual thinking mentality, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's attribute 2. And again, can you think of your own example for this attribute? Is there something, a scenario in your life that you can think that you are influenced by your own point of view, whether it's thinking behind it or whether it's actual physical attributes that shape your point of view, right? Where you're standing in a certain location, that sort of thing. When we go on to attribute 3, you guys, we can just talk about these, all right? The attribute 3 is essentially differences in opinion may arise because of the points of view from which the topic is examined. And I think that delves into what we talked about as well. Yes. Okay, so the driver this is just an example, right? When we take that one statement, the point of view statement, the driver talking on his cell phone obviously caused the accident. That's a point of view, right? And how that shapes this point of view are the following. You could have once been in an accident caused by a driver talking on his cell. That's going to influence your point of view. Maybe you saw the driver of the car talking on the cell phone. You really believe all cell phones should not be operated in cars. And again, you narrowly missed causing an accident when talking on your cell phone while driving. Those are all outside factors that can influence your point of view and shape your point of view. Okay. So that is another thing that can attribute to your point of view. Okay. So differences in opinion, right, on your beliefs around cell phone use in vehicles is going to distinguish where your point of view comes when you see something. Okay, that's attribute number 3. And again, if you can fill in your own example on that web, fantastic. Now, what I'd like to do is I'm actually going to stop there, you guys, for the attributes. We're just going to look at the first 3 attributes. I think you guys are at a level that you clearly understand from what you guys have been talking about on Blackboard as well, your comments. I can see that you guys understand. You also, though, on that web have those other attributes in front of you as well, okay? What I'd like to do, though, is this, okay? Now, I think we're going to do this a little bit differently because I noticed that some of you guys were in your own. Everybody wasn't in with somebody else on Poplet or in Padlet. I'm going to introduce you guys to a new website today, okay? And this is what it's going to be. It's called Poplet. So do not get it confused with Padlet. But it's very, very similar to Padlet in that it is a collaborative tool. It is live time and you guys can collaborate using it. Now, this is going to take some time to set up because I'm going to ask you guys to actually set up your own walls. Now, this is what you need to do. I'm actually going to only ask you to use 2 groups, okay? Maybe 3. Let's go 3 groups. That way it's not too big of groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to split the class into 3 groups. Then I'm going to ask one person from each group to create an account in Poplet, okay? And it doesn't take long. It's a quick little sign up. Once you're done that, I'm going to ask the rest of the group to private message that one person your email, because then you can share that wall through email. So then your group gets a link in their email and you can instantly start editing your Poplet wall. Okay. Now, what I'd like you to achieve on this Poplet wall is the following. I would like you to establish all the different viewpoints that need to be considered in the following scenario. So your scenario is this. So instead of a car accident, this is the following. The city is developing a skateboard park in an established residential area. Who has all valued interests? Who has different viewpoints that need to be considered when we're developing a skateboard park in a residential area? That's how you guys are going to collaborate. Poplet is very, very easily. It almost looks like a web. It's super, super simple. Now, let's split up into our 3 groups. All right. So it looks like we've got, I'm just going to flip up my computer here, you guys, so I can read it. Looks like we've got about 17. So that actually works out really well. Okay. Because then let's have about 5 to 6 per group. So Devin, if you actually have your a question, just type it to me, please. Okay. If not, you can lower your hand. So I'm going to do it a little bit different today, you guys. So really, I'm just going to take the first 5 and set first 5 or 6. That'll be your group. All right. So Abby, Alex, Ava, Avery, Belle, and Bria. There's 6. Okay. Now, what I'm going to ask is, Abby, for you to go create the Poplet for the group. All right. In the assignment, there is a tutorial, and you can easily, I'm hoping, did I remember to put the tutorial in? I did. Yay! Okay, so make sure, Abby, you can follow that how-to guide on how to create a Poplet. Everybody else in that group, Alex, Ava, Avery, Belle, and Bria, you guys need to send Abby in a private message your email so that she can share that with you. And Abby, that part sharing is in the tutorial as well. All right. Next group, Chloe, Damon, Devin, Haley, Jack, and Jade. Okay. Chloe, I'm going to ask you to go make your Poplet for your group. Everybody else, Damon, Devin, Haley, Jack, Jade, you guys send Chloe a private message with your email, please. Then you guys can see the last 5. Lily, Savannah, Sophia, Taylor, and Taylor. You guys are a group. Lily, do you feel comfortable making a Poplet for everybody? Can you just give me a quick note there, Lily? Let me know if you're okay, or even just give me a green check mark, Lily. If not, maybe I'll get Savannah to do it. And same thing, Chloe and Abby, if you guys don't feel comfortable, let me know so I can change that. All right? So just because Lily's not responding to me right now, Savannah, do you feel comfortable creating that Poplet for your group? Lily, perfect. Never mind, Savannah. Lily, give me a green check mark. She feels comfortable. So Savannah, Sophia, Taylor, and Taylor, if you guys can send Lily in a private message your emails, that would be great. Okay. Now, I think this is a good time for us to stop here on our live classroom, and I will go back to my office. No problem, Chloe. So then I'll go back to my office and we'll get into Blackboard. If there's any glitches, any errors, you guys can easily let me know and I can walk you through the steps of Poplet and stuff and make sure everyone's good to go. All right. So you guys you guys have probably about 10 minutes while I get from my live classroom to my office. And then that way, that'll give everyone time to set up the Poplet, send your email address to the person I asked you to, and we'll be good to go. Chloe, I will get to that after I get back to Blackboard. All right? Okay, perfect. Thanks, you guys.